That's for Brother Jim. I had just finished a revival in a small Midwestern city. I was on a train on my way home. I found myself seated next to a young man, and thinking to help speed the trip up a little bit, I thought I'd start a conversation. I mentioned the weather, and receiving no response, I turned toward him, and to my surprise, I saw big tears just rolling down his face. I said, "Son, I'm a minister, just an old preacher man, but I'd be more than happy to help you if there's any way I can." And with that, he proceeded to tell me this story. He said, "Preacher, 2 years ago I had become so hard and bitter and so mean that my mom and daddy couldn't do a thing with me. I was a source of embarrassment to both of them, but I didn't know any better. Then one day in a moment of anger, I struck out and I hit my father. I hit him with my fist. He said, 'Son, that's all. You've broken your mother's heart. You're breaking my heart. I want you to leave and don't come back. You're not welcome here any longer.' Well, preacher, I left, and for 2 years I've wandered this land, just wondering, what is life about? What is being held from me? A couple of weeks ago, I walked into a small revival, and I found the Lord. I gave him my heart and my soul, and now I'm on my way back home for my mom and my dad." Well, I just had to ask. I said, "Son, how do you know that you're going to be welcome home? How do you know that your mother and father have forgiven you?" He said, "Preacher, this little old train that runs right by our little old farm, and in our front yard is a big old apple tree. I wrote my daddy a letter 2 weeks ago. I said, I'm coming home. If I'm welcome, just tie a white rag in the top of that old tree. And if I see that rag, I'll come home. If not, I'll just take this train on to wherever it takes me. But I really want to come home, Dad. But I don't know, preacher, if I can stand to look or not. It's just up around this bend. I wonder if you would do me a kindness and look out that window for me and tell me what you see." Well, not knowing what to expect, I turned around, I wiped the dust off that old window, and I looked out just as I passed that farm. I turned around with a big grin on my face. I said, "Son, your worries are over. Your problems are solved. You're more than welcome home. I've never seen so much white in my life on one tree. That apple tree's in full blossom, just solid white. And there's a white rag tied to almost every branch there is. And there's Mom and Dad out there in the front yard waving a big old bed sheet that says, 'Welcome home, son. All is forgiven.'" And you know, son, if you think about it, that's kind of like when you wandered into that little revival and you asked the Lord, "Lord, can I come home?" And he said, "Welcome home, son. All is forgiven. Welcome home." Thank you, Brother Rick.